Okay. So, hello. Good evening to everyone. So, magandang gabi po sa lahat ng attendees ng ETCOR Educational Research Center. So, through this advocacy project, MANANALIKSIK for everyone. So, this is in partnership with San Sebastian College-Recoletos, Manila, Institute of Graduate Studies. So, presents this free webinar for grade 11 and 12 Filipino students entitled Practical Research 2 Quantitative Research Quarter 1, Weeks 6 to 7 lessons. So today is 26th day of November, and we will start with our program. So we will start with the prayer. Let's put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We are truly grateful for them. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another in this wonderful event. May you extend your divine wisdom to our speaker so that he would be able to impart effectively his God-given knowledge to all of us. May he be blessed as he continues to bring his expertise to people who need him. Bless the participants as well so that they would be able to glean vital information from this wonderful activity. May you bestow your blessings after the seminar so that we may go out and spread what we learn. In the spirit of your love and generosity, may we realize that this activity should glorify your name. Amen. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay. So, that ends our opening prayer. Now, I like to present who's going to be your moderator for today. So he is Mark Joseph D. Santos. He is a registered nurse and a registered teacher here in the Philippines. And currently, he is finishing his second doctoral degree, which is Doctor of Education. Aside from research, he is also into Latin and standard American dancing or dance sports. So he also likes to dance as well, aside from doing research. Okay. All right. So before we go on, so we would like to have this opportunity to thank our very good founder and the head consultant for ETCOR, Dr. Richard D. Sanchez, for giving this wonderful event. So this is Project SAGIP Mananaliksik for everyone. So as you can see, this is a project that is aligned with DepEd as well. So para all of us are on the same page. Okay? All right. So thank you, Dr. Richard D. Sanchez, for creating this wonderful event para sa mga senior high school natin. Okay? So next one, we want to recognize the partnership of ETCOR. So we are now in partner for this event. This is partner with the Institute of Graduate Studies. So for San Sebastian College of Recoletos. So as you can see in your screen, you can see their current courses that they have in the graduate studies and their contact information. Okay? So ang contact person po natin dyan, yung magiging speaker natin tonight. Okay? All right. So first up, for our welcome message. So he is now employed as a head marketing, corporate communications, and external affairs, and the current program chair of Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship at Saint International School. Currently, at the age of 26, Mr. Peña Redoña is taking up the Doctor of Philosophy in Business Administration program at De La Salle University das Marinas, where he already completed the academic requirements and now finishing his dissertation. More so, Mr. Peña Redoña has achieved to be included in the Dean's Honor List in the PhD program. This year, he bagged the Institutional Award for being the Outstanding Professor of the Year 2020. And because of his passion, achievements, and exemplary performance in teaching, he was nominated to win the National Award organized by Instabright National Awards for Educators Philippines in partnership with the Department of Education as the National Outstanding Teacher of the Year 2020. He held on January 11, 2020 at Tagaytay International Convention Center. Let's welcome Mr. Angelo C. Peñarredonia.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Mark. Okay, good evening, everyone. So the ETCOR Educational Research Center family is truly grateful to give you another research-related event through its advocacy, the project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK, which is intended for everyone. Today's event of ETCOR National Educational Research Center is in partnership with San Sebastian College-Recoletos in Manila. We are fortunate to have Dr. Adrian Laurence Carvajal, the Dean of the Institute of Graduate Studies of the San Sebastian College-Recoletos, as our lecturer. On behalf of the ETCOR Research Center, we warmly welcome you all in today's seminar. We are very positive that you will learn a lot from the lecturer as he will share his experiences in the field of research. Again, good evening everyone and welcome to our webinar.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Angelo Peñarredonda, for that wonderful message. Okay. Now, let's go to the topics discussion for today. So our speaker will be discussing the theories, theoretical framework, and conceptual framework. He will also be discussing about the definitions of terms, presentation of written review of related literature, and after that, we're going to be having our Q&A. So if ever meron po tayong questions or there are questions that you have in mind, please do write them down. And then pag dumating na po yung question and answer portion, you can type them or you can unmute your mic and ask the lecturer. Okay? And then after the Q&A portion, we will be having our quiz game. So practical game. So basically, magkakaroon tayo ng games na meron kayong sasagutan. So yes. All right. So meron din tayong actual game na sasagutan. Okay. All right. So eventually meron po tong prize. So sabi sa akin ng speaker, medyo malalaki yung prize na ibibigay niya today for this activity. So, yep. So that would be our program for today. So please be reminded of the following before we go with our lecture. So first one, change your Zoom name to be required format. So meron po tayong required name for the Zoom. So para madali po nating matrace kung sino yung mga bata. So mic should be on mute unless you have questions during the Q&A portion or if you are asked to unmute by the lecturer. Okay? Camera may be switched on or off. Wear appropriate attire during the event. Make sure that you are situated in an environment where there is no disruption. Prepare a piece of paper where you will write notes and questions to be answered after the lecturer's discussion. After the discussion, you can use the chat box to type in your questions and concerns. And lastly, please make sure to answer the survey. So ipapadala ko po dun sa chat box yung survey question natin or questionnaire. So please make sure to answer it within 24 hours. Okay? All right. Now is the time for me to introduce our very good lecturer for today. With more than 2 decades of experience in teaching, in management, and in research, a strong desire of learning, he offers a unique blend of leadership, vision, knowledge, passion, and productivity. He is a certified marketer or marketing educator, CPME, a career service exclusive eligible, CSEE, and a certified Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt, CLSSYB. He was a research consultant and training and research consultant in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. He was also served as University Director of the Public Relations and Information Management Office in Pangasinan State University, Philippines, and a Research Coordinator of St. Paul University, Quezon City, Philippines. As a passionate educator, he has taught in senior high school, college, masteral, and doctoral courses on education, management, business, and research in Dubai, Pangasinan, and in Manila. His professional education is multidisciplinary as he earned degrees in AB philosophy, Bachelor of Laws, Master of Developmental Management, Master in Business Administration, Doctor of Education, Doctor of Public Administration candidate, and Doctor of Philosophy and Business Administration candidate. A prolific and multi-award researcher, he engages in multidisciplinary researches in multi-method approaches in social sciences, education, business, and management. He is an active speaker, presenter in international and national conferences, and his published nationally and internationally in ISI Web of Science referred journals. He is currently the editor-in-chief of the International Journal of Business Management and Innovation, a member of editorial review board of several journals and research organizations. He was project research consultant of AUSAID and USAID founded researches on employment and livelihood of persons with disabilities or PWDs and sustainable communities. Currently, he's the Dean of School of San Sebastian College-Recoletos, Manila, and Canlubang Campus. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Adrian Laurence Carvajal.
Doc Mark, is my slide on and I'm able to, my mic is on?
Yes,
Yes,
Doc,
sir.
your mic is on,
Okay,
but
thank you.
wala pa po yung presentation.
Okay, I'll show my slide.
Okay.
Okay, how about this time?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. So I need to stop sharing. Share. Okay, how about this one?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Doc
Okay.
Mark, kindly stop sharing so Dr.
Yeah.
Carvajal can share.
Yes,
I
I
think
think that
that's
will be done.
automatic.
Okay, I will share once again. I'll try sharing. Okay, how about this time? Doc Richard, Doc Mark, is my
Not
PPT
yet,
on?
sir. Not
Not
yet.
yet. So how do we go about this one? Doc Mark, I think you need to stop sharing. Sige po, Doc Mark. Okay. So I'll be having the...
Okay, it's already there. Doc Adrian.
Okay, wow, that's a great way to start. Okay, thank you for the warm introduction, Dr. Mark Joseph Santos. So I'll be having the topic on week 6 to 7 on quantitative research. I'll be focusing on theories and research, the TF and CF that we know of, the theoretical framework and conceptual framework, then the definition of terms, and how do we present the written review of related literature. So I'm Dr. Adrian Carvajal from San Sebastian, College-Recoletos, Manila. Okay. Before starting right away with the lecture, allow me to give you the images of interment that I have. One will be the ETCOR. I would like to thank our founder, our hardworking founder, that will be Dr. Richard Sanchez, who's able to gather together great minds, research consultants, to be able to give this webinar in the project Mananaliksik. And together with this, we're also learning as research consultants. I would like also to thank the moderator for today, for tonight, that will be Dr. Santos, and the one that has given the introduction, that will be Professor Angelo Peña Redonda. Thank you so much. Well, another image will be the Pangasinan here. Though I am connected in San Sebastian College-Recoletos, Manila, I am currently in my hometown, that will be in Pangasinan. I am with my family. I have arranged a work from home setup with my institution. So I wish someday that you could visit some Pangasinan and its wonderful places. Together with that image will be the San Sebastian Minor Basilica. This is just beside our school. This is a wonderful church, a wonderful basilica, because this one is an all-steel church, not only in the Philippines, but in the entire Asia. So it's the only all-steel church in Asia. So hopefully you could visit our school and you could also visit our great church, the San Sebastian Minor Basilica. Okay, as was given by Dr. Santos, the moderator, I'll be having the topics and the Q&A. Hopefully, I could cover the topics in more than an hour or so. Then we'll be having the Q&A. Then we'll be having the quiz is game. I'm hoping that you are familiar already with the quiz is game. But if you're not familiar with the quiz is game or with the quiz is platform, we'll be having a practice game of around 12 questions. Then we'll be having the actual game. It's around 20 questions on the topic that I have focused on. So I'll be giving away as part of endearment of caring for ETCOR and for the researchers like you. I'll be giving away, the first prize will be 400, the second prize will be 300, and third prize will be 200. That will be given away as a Gcash prizes. So let's start. Okay, I'll be starting with the concept of a theory. How do we define a theory? Okay, well, the theory, as in accordance with the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it's a plausible or scientifically acceptable general principle or body of principles offered to explain a phenomenon. I have highlighted there the word plausible. What's the other meaning of plausible? The other meaning will be it's credible, so it's possible. How is this principle becomes credible? Because of the scientific method that was conducted to be able to establish the general principle. So, so I would like to once again reiterate that one. So we have these theories because of the scientific methods that was conducted to be able to prove that this principle is actually able to explain the phenomena. Okay. There are three theories that I have put there. The wave theory of light, which gives the concept of the light is bending, and the Big Bang theory, which is the evolution of the entire universe, and the EMC squared there. So you're going to see the third theory there. That belongs to Newton or Einstein. That belongs to Einstein on the theory of relativity. Okay, let's have a definition that is nearer to our heart as a researcher. What are theories? Well, these are actually formulas. These are formulated to explain. So it gives an explanation, it predicts, it gives an understanding of a certain phenomenon. And what is a phenomena? Well, these are instances, events, or happenings. So the theories that we have explains the events or happenings. It gives predictions of what will happen. It gives an understanding. Why is these things or events are happening? And in many cases, however, one theory is going to challenge another theory, or a theory is going to extend another theory. So within the bounds or limits of critical assumptions. Okay. I'll give you further examples of theories. This one is a popular theory that you may have encountered in your classes in psychology or in your study of human motivation. So we have here the hierarchy of needs, or the HON, by Abraham Maslow. So before actually becoming a better version of yourself, you need first to satisfy the physiological needs. So this one is the very passe, very old theory, but it still works until today. So before you can actually study, you can argue this one. I need first to be fed. I need first food before studying. Okay, so that's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Well, another theory that you may not have encountered but is popular to teachers will be the Bloom's revised taxonomy. In this slide, I would like to give the notion that theories can be challenged and it can be extended. So if you're going to look at this theory, 1956, it was introduced by Bloom. Then in 2001, this theory was revised by the students of Bloom. So what's the difference now? So it has been challenged. No, it's not challenged. It's extended now. They made some arrangement that in 2001, the highest order thinking skills now will be the creation. If you're able to create something, that's the highest order thinking skills. If you're able to do or develop your research, that's the highest form of thinking. Okay. This one is closest to me because I'm in the business. For those who are in high school taking ABM, accountancy, business management, you have your marketing classes. And one of the basic rudiments when taking marketing will be the marketing mix of the 4 P's of marketing by McCarthy. So we have the promotion, product, place, and price. Now, this theory has been uh, challenged and extended at the same time. So we now have the 4 C's of marketing by Lauterborn. So it's not anymore product is going to be the focus, but the consumer is now the focus when it comes to marketing. Now this has been extended to we have the 7 P's of Booms and Bittner, and it became 8 P's with Goldsmith, and another 8 P's is has joined the discussion by Lovelock and Wirtz. So these are giving you scenarios that theories are evolving. It is continuously uh, giving birth to another theory. So a theory giving birth to another theory because it is being challenged or it is being extended. Okay. Uh, in research, uh, the thing that we're actually looking for will be uh, what theory did you choose to be able to go on with your theory. So Aben 2013 give us the following uh, factors or steps or elements in choosing a theory. So in choosing a theory, you choose a theory that is appropriate for your study. So the one that should be fit for the problem that you're trying to see. Ease of application. This one, you cannot just get a theory with many variables because that will be very hard for you to really apply. So you need to consider also choose a theory that you can readily apply for your research. So that will be ease of application. And the third one, according to Aben, will be the explanatory power. So choose a theory that can readily explain the cause and effect or the relationships of the thoughts or the variables that you're going to consider. Now, I need to add this one. So see, I'm going now to challenge the work of Aben. Okay, by experience, we need to consider the following factors also in trying to determine or select a theory in research. That will be currency, or you select a theory that will be most recent. Dapat hindi ka mahuhuli dun sa theory mo. Okay. One of the things that I could readily remember that some professors or researchers are going to be critical about you will be the currency of your theory. I remembered when I presented a paper in Ateneo de Davao among the sociologists, a circle of sociologists. And one sociology student who's trying to present a paper also was questioned because of the currency of the theory that he was trying to use in this study. So basically, he was advised to use a more recent theory. So that's another thing. That's an important factor too. So because theory evolves, you need to be updated also on the theories of your discipline. And number five that we need also to consider will be the credibility of the author or the proponent of the theory. You need to choose the proponent or author of the theory. There are many theories, but definitely you need to choose which one is more credible. Okay, in the first place, why do we need theories in research? Okay, even with the scientific methods or scientific findings, you went through the steps of doing the data gathering in your sampling process. Why do you need the theory after all? Well, it is because when you assess the data, you're going to adopt a certain theoretical perspective. You need to see it in a certain theoretical, I'll be introducing the word already, no? The theoretical lens. I'll be having a discussion on that. So when you have this data, you're going to look at it in a very unique theoretical perspective that you have adapted. In that way, you're able to derive conclusions based on the data that you have gathered. So basically also, in the same manner, by De Benity and Silverman, the research questions are going to be anchored on theories. They are inevitably theoretically informed. So even with the most basic issues in research, we need theories. And I have put red marks there at the bottom. Don't under-theorize also. You mention a theory, but you fail to use the theory. So use your theories. Whenever you have pick a good one, use your theories and be able to analyze your data. Okay. Functions of theories in research by Lucero 2017. Let's go to the functions of theories in research. What can theories do for your research? Well, it can set the parameters of your study. Within the theories, it can give you already what are the things that you're going to do and not do. So it gives you the parameters. It gives you the boundaries of your study. Second, it can give you the guide towards data collection. And the third one, which is basically the most important, will be it gives you the certain perspective of interpreting your data. Now, it gives or arises to a theoretical perspective or a theoretical framework. In the last 2 or 3 sessions of webinar that we have in ETCOR, if you can remember the talk of Dr. Lakap, but if you did not attend that, it's okay. It talks about double publication, but a minor point there will be on double publication. Can you have the same data and offer another perspective? So same data, and you use a theory, How about using the same data and using another theory or another perspective? Yes, you can. So this is one of the exemptions of double publication. If, if you have a data and it was interpreted this way in another theory, you can adopt another theory to look on the same data. I uh, I sometimes envy my friends who are economic professors, economic doctors, who are able to use secondary data and able to produce researches. So there's all data already, but if they're going to use economic perspective, economic theories on this data, they can produce another set of conclusions and findings. So look at that. Even without doing the legwork of data gathering, if they're going to look at this data in another perspective, they're going to produce another research. Okay, where do you start at all looking for a theory? Where do you begin looking for a theory? The answer is RRL, Review of Related Literature. In the first place, where do you begin in research? Well, you begin once again with the review of related literature, because the review of related literature will give you your assumptions, your variables. And where do you end in research once again? You end it with review of related literature, because now you're now going to connect your findings with the RRL. That's on the discussion. So that's how important is the RRL, or the review of related literature. So everything actually is uh, beginning and end will be the review of related literature. Okay. I do not know if you have encountered this already. These are metaphors that I have thought of. Metaphors of theories and research. Uh, the first one will be the metaphor of research lenses, and the second one will be the metaphor of standing onto giants. Well, when you have theoretical frameworks, it's like adapting a lens. It's a particular perspective through which you're going to examine your topic. Well, there are many different lenses that you can have. There are psychological theories, the social theories, organizational theories, and economic theories. And there are theories outside also of your discipline that you can borrow. That makes your work either multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary. Sometimes the theory that is very suitable or appropriate to be able for you to address your problems is not found in your discipline, so you need to go out of your discipline. Okay, this is maybe an example that I can give you. Recently, I have, together with a group, I actually presented two papers here in the Philippine Research Conference on Tourism and Hospitality. I am not a tourism major, but I have joined this conference because my peers here, Dr. Badilla and Professor Castro, another Professor Castro, came from the tourism discipline. So I have to join their project, and their project will be on foreign bloggers case of the Philippines during COVID-19. I cannot see the upper portion. It's home away from home. It's a foreign bloggers case of the Philippines during COVID-19 pandemic. So we have done a research on foreign bloggers. It's actually watching YouTube videos and trying to synthesize, trying to analyze by themes what are the themes for these videos that they have conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic. The second paper that I have given, so the theory that was used here will be the tourism gaze, which is a tourism theory. And the second one that we have used is a social theory. It's Hofstede cultural frameworks. So two theories were used on this one. It's a tourism paper, however. I have done on the same conference, I presented this one, the tourism and educational agenda of the Philippine banknotes. Guess what theory did I use? I used a theory coming from mass comm discipline. It's a mass comm theory that money is able to function also as a sort of mass media that is able to verify and legitimize the issuing country. So something like that. It's mass computing. So you cannot be curtailed, hindered, when a theory is not found in your discipline. You go out from your discipline. Okay. Another thought by Crossman. The theoretical perspective is a set of assumptions about reality that inform the questions as we ask and the kinds of answers we arrive as a result. Well, in this sense, a theoretical perspective can be understood as a lens through which we look, serving to focus or distort what we see. It can also be a frame which serves to both include and exclude certain things from our view. So with the theoretical perspective, we can have things that can be included and excluded. It was mentioned already by the earlier authors that it can set the parameters already. Okay, the second metaphor. So the first metaphor that you have seen will be the metaphor for research lenses. Now the second metaphor will be having a good theory and having a good RRL is like standing on the shoulder of giants. Now, just imagine that. You are not the giant, but when you're able to use a good theory, you are standing over the shoulder of a giant. So I put there the attack of the titans. Tama, tama yan. Pero the fitting description for you will be the right side. So you're standing over the shoulder of giants, looking over the horizon, and that will be the metaphor of having giants, scholars, good theories in trying to look over your topic. Well, another thing, I don't know if you have readily encountered it. For the it's free in the Google Scholar. If you have ESCO, that's fine. But for for the researchers who have no access to paid databases, we have the friendly Google Scholar that provides us a lot more. So in the Google Scholar, you can find there at the bottom part, before you actually do the searching, stand on the shoulder of giants. So it, with this, it can gives you a concept, a conception that the Google Scholar, among others, is the hub of giants, the hub of scholars. You look for a theoretical framework, you eventually look for a giant that you can stand on their shoulder on. Talking about the shoulder of giants, it actually came from the words of Isaac Newton. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulder of giants. I would like to have this one as a springboard for the discussion, that whenever you're going to do a research, you're going to join in a scholarly discussion. And in the scholarly discussion, you need giants at your side, because on those giants, you can see further. Without those giants, you do not know what is happening to the topic that you're currently researching. So you need the giants. You need to discover the giants in the topic that you're currently researching. Before giving you the definitions of what is a theoretical framework and what is conceptual framework, this table will give us readily the distinction of these two frameworks. In the initial years of my schooling, all the while, theoretical framework has a slash on it. Theoretical framework slash conceptual framework. Then later on, lately did I discover that the theoretical framework and conceptual framework are two different things. So these are apples and oranges. Okay, let's examine the differences. The theoretical framework is broad in scope, while the conceptual framework is narrow. Question, why is this narrow? because broad in the sense that theoretical framework gives you general assumptions. Its applicability is general, but when it comes to your conceptual framework, the applicability now is too narrow because you're using it in your local or focus of the study. Loosely defined and clearly defined. I think this has to be connected later on with the definition of terms. Loosely defined because it's going to be, the definition is applicable generally to all. Then the definition in the conceptual framework, the concepts there needs to be clearly defined in your DOT. There are two definitions. I need just to introduce the concept now. There are two definitions that you need to consider of. These are the conceptual definitions and the operational definitions. The clearly defined here means that your conceptual framework variables needs to be operationally defined. It means it needs to be adjusted in accordance with the usage of your study, with its usage in your study. Okay. Another distinction will be derived from the theories. That will be theoretical framework. However, for the conceptual framework, it's derived from your variables of the study. Theoretical framework may be, or it is the basic foundation of your research study. It can be the stimulus for you to go on and dig deeper. But the conceptual framework, it gives you already the structure and paradigm of study. The other term actually of conceptual refine is the paradigm of study. It gives you the certain structure of your study. Then the theoretical framework is the starting point of discussion and the directions of the study for the conceptual framework, because it gives you structure, it points you to the directions already of where you're going to. So that's conceptual framework. Okay, I think the clincher will be the last one. The model paradigm coming from a giant or a scholar will be the theoretical framework. It came from the giant, it came from a scholar. But when it comes to conceptual framework, that will be your own model, adapting a theory with modifications to suit your study, if there are modifications. Now, with that distinction, we can revisit the definition of theoretical framework and the conceptual framework. So for the theoretical framework, this is based upon theories that have already been tested. You cannot use that one in the conceptual framework. The theoretical framework, these are theories that are the result of painstaking research conducted earlier by other investigators or researchers. So this framework, theoretical, is broader in scope and dimensions. It involves broad generalizations that reflect relationship between things in a phenomenon. Now, for the conceptual framework, it gives a direction that is missing the theoretical framework. Why is it missing? Because when you adopt the theory, it may or it may not be applicable to your research focus. So this may be the missing link for the theoretical framework. Also called research paradigm. Conceptual framework makes things easier by delineating the input as well as the output of the research project. Variables are identified that need to be tested in a conceptual framework. Okay. Well, can you grow as a giant? Can your conceptual framework become a theoretical framework someday? So can the person standing on the shoulder of a giant become another giant? And the answer is yes. Theoretical framework basically start from conceptual framework, but with much validated researches, develops into a research-based theoretical framework. Your conceptual framework can also become a theoretical framework. Therefore, you can be another giant someday. Okay, let's go to definition of terms. Something there. Okay, definition of terms. Words are meant to convey meaning. Actions may give meaning, but in this sense, we're talking about words. So words are going to convey meanings. It has meanings. But do these words has the same meaning for everyone? So it's a question. Do it's in logic before when I was uh, really a young teacher, a young professor that they're teaching logic. After my seminary days, I was assigned to teach logic, and I could remember uh, some of the topics in logic has something to do with the univocal terms and equivocal terms. What are these? Uh, when a word has only one meaning, it's univocal. But when a word has many meanings, two or more meanings, it's equivocal. An example would be bilog, for example. No? The word bilog is an equivocal term. It may mean, so what are the meanings of bilog? Well, bilog may mean a circle. Bilog may mean also referring to a person that is healthy. I use the word healthy, okay? It's medyo gender sensitive po yun. And bilog will also mean the liquor, yun, yung sa tambay. Bili ka ng bilog. So, one word, three meanings. Also with the word nag-iinit, ang daming meanings na nag-iinit. So, also the ring has many meanings. A basketball ring, a wedding ring. So, these are examples of equivocal terms. Okay. So, given in that context, we need to readily make some definition in the terms that we use in our study. Hence, the part of the definition of terms or the DOT. In the Harvard Graduate School of Education 2020, they define it as the alphabetical listing of important terms or acronyms that you define, particularly ambiguous terms or those used in a special way. Okay. Uh, I have some reservation when it comes to the alphabetical listing because by practice, we do it other researchers are doing it by significance. Other than having an alphabetical listing, it's an alphabetized list of important terms. What we're doing for the other researchers will be to have uh, listing by significance. What do you mean by significance? Well, you define first the terms that you can find in your title that can be ambiguous or important terms in your title, important terms in your SOP. So in this way, looking at your DOT, you can readily find the terms that are very important. Two concepts that are in the definition of terms or DOT. How your terms are defined affects your understanding and basically also the understanding of your readers. And if you need to define this way, you need to be consistent on that definition. That means if you use the word or define it this way, it should be throughout the study, it should be defined that way. And here comes the two concepts that are very important in DOT. The conceptual definition and the operational definition. The conceptual definition, it's a universal definition of a term understood by people. This is, quote unquote, the dictionary definition. So if you borrow from a dictionary, if you borrow from books without any modification, that's your conceptual definition. It's a borrowed meaning. But when you customize that definition, when you offer an own definition of your terms based on its usage of your study, it becomes now an operational definition. This one is a concrete, a measurable, based on observable characteristics of what is being defined within the context of your study. So it's a borrowed definition or your own definition. Okay, in a defense, that was I cannot remember the year. It was a study on a successful women. So the focus will be on successful women. Now the question is, how do you define successful? This was not clear in the proponent or researcher's DOT. How do you define success now? Would you use a conceptual definition or would you use an operational definition? Take note of the success definition in a dictionary, particularly the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It's either the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, the attainment of popularity, or the attainment of profit, of which is which. If we're going to have successful teachers, if we're going to have successful parents, what will be the definition that we're going to use? And if we are going to have successful women, how would you measure now? How would you define successful? Is it on their accomplishments, the attainment of popularity, or the attainment of profit? Okay. There are three ways looking at RRL. Actually, two by Lucero 2017. Then I have to meddle in the thoughts of Lucero 2017. It's the point of view of the researcher. When you look at the RRL, what's your point of view? Point of view of the reader, and point of view of the author or the maker, and the one that produces the one that you're reading. So, because in that note, let's analyze the thoughts of Lucero 2017 on the views of RRL. So there are two views of RRL, the old view and the new view. When we talk about the old view of looking at the RRL, it's just a selection and annotation of available documents, both published and unpublished, which contain information, ideas, data, evidence related on the topic that a person proposes to research on. So it's just a selection, but that's the old view. And you did not capitalize on your RRL if you're going to adopt the old view. The new view now is RRL, the use of ideas in the literature to be able to justify the particular approach to the topic, the selection of the methods, the demonstration that this research contributes something new. With this new view, RRL is not just a selection. It is the justification. It provides the justification of your research findings. So let's adopt the new view of RRL. Lucero 2017 gives the point that when you encounter an RRL, these are the things that you're going to extract. The problem that it tries to address, the purpose or themes of the study, the sample and subjects of the study, the key results, conclusion of the study, and the methodology when it comes to the strength or flows that can launch other researches from its recommendations. Basically, as a researcher, when I try to look at the RRL, I go for number 4. But sometimes for replication studies, you can go for number 5, the methodology. If a certain findings of a research yielded this way, you can conduct another research. That's why there are three popular methods now. You can do a quantitative, a qualitative, or mixed methods. You can combine both. In that way, you can readily validate or verify if findings in a qualitative setting, in a qualitative method, can yield the same in the quantitative method, or it can yield. Will it be the same in the mixed methods research? Okay, how much is much for the literature review? Are you going to gather all? No, the sky is not the limit for you. You need to set parameters for your health also. Otherwise, you're going endlessly. You're going to dig endlessly for your literature review. You set parameters. What are the variables or themes of your study? What type of research are you looking for? And the time frame. Okay. Okay, at nakialam naman po ako dito, Lucero 2017. I need to add, in our graduate school, or even before in college or teaching high school students to do research, we set the number of journals that are going to be included. So for example, if you're high school, you're conducting research, maybe around 20 journal articles will do. For college, that's around 30, also 40. But in our graduate school, we require our students for master's thesis to use 30 journal articles. It does not include yet the books. We just pinpointed the journal articles. And for dissertation, that will be 60. We also include the currency. You cannot just have RRL from 1945, 1950s. You need to also consider the currency. Uh, is is it the most recent literature that you have stumbled upon or look upon? So you need also to consider that one. Okay, down to a few more slides. This slide will give you the crop test. How do you evaluate online resources and how do you evaluate the websites for your RIL? So it can help you. Basically, crop test means what does crop means? It is cheap. It can be disregarded because it is crop. It is unessential. Okay, crop test. This is by Bistram, as cited in DUDEC 2015. Now, if you're going to, because basically because of the pandemic, we are confined to our computers, doing online research for our RRL and looking for findings or researches that can support our study. We eventually are going to use this one, the crop test. You go for currency, reliability, authority, and purpose. So these are the things that you're going to look for if you're going to evaluate a certain website or online resources. That goes also for the journals or the articles that are written in websites. If we talk about currency, it talks about how recent is the information. Is it current enough for your topic? Now, the rule will be 510. Depending on your school, you may be asked by your advisor, your teachers, to look for articles, look for researches that are 5 years of age or 10 years of age. Reliability, uh, what are the if the proponent has provided references or sources of data or quotations. I remember just now the issue on Wikipedia. So never cite Wikipedia because it's it's a hodgepodge information. Although you can readily verify from the reference list the source of the Wikipedia. So if I'm going to use the Wikipedia, I'm not going to use or cite the Wikipedia, but I'm going to verify from the list of references from the Wikipedia that will point you to the direction of the data that you're looking for. So, but never cite the Wikipedia or similar of that sort. Authority, consider also the credentials. When you're citing a person, you need to also cite the credentials of the person. And the point of view or purpose. If an article is pushing for an agenda or particular site, you need to look for that one. Okay, otherwise, uh, I have just found this from the net of the same article. Otherwise, you may accidentally quote a dog in the process or an animal in the process. So, these are other criteria that you can also use, similar to the crop test. The 6 criteria of evaluating internet sources by the library, Lydia M. Olson Library. Authority, accuracy, objectivity, currency, coverage, and appearance. It has something to do with the appearance of the website. And the 5 C's of evaluating web sources given by Khan 2016, connectivity. Does the source connects to your topic? Construction, how it was constructed, currency, latest content, and credibility also. It's almost the same. Okay, approaches to writing the review. How do you present now your RRL? Well, it can be chronological, it can be thematic, it can be by country of origin, or the type of literature. When we mean, what do we mean by chronological literature? So that's according to the years. So you have your intro, you arrange it by recent literature, and the least recent literature, then you have your synthesis. For thematic, it can be arranged in 2 ways. You identify, Oh, there's one joining in. Okay. For the thematic, either you can go by independent variables, identifying your variables and dependent variables, or the thing that I'm using will be major themes. That's letter B. Thematic literature, arranging it by B, the major themes or topics. The clue here or the tip here is when you're going to do your discussion of your findings, you need to connect with the topics or themes that you have identified in your RRL. So readily, when you have done your approach in writing the RRL by themes, you can readily connect the themes of RRL with your findings. Because basically, you need to connect your findings to the literature. Number three, country of origin or literature. You can have foreign studies and local studies. I find this one before in the old theses or researches, but it's not anymore practice. Or if they are not practice, rarely practice, not advisable, not advisable. For the type of literature, it can be the published literature and unpublished. That goes for your thesis in your schools that are unpublished. So you can categorize them this way. But my advice for you is to do it thematically. You can do the RRL writing by themes. The last one will be the synthesis. Never forget this one, that after the RRL, you need to do the synthesis. And this is combining the results of multiple research studies and trying to make generalizations on the RRL that you have conducted. And the other terms for synthesis will be compare one research or contrast one research to one another. You try to evaluate and interpret this one. Because the purpose of the synthesis now will be to connect this one with the research question. But other than this one, given by Harvard Graduate School of Education, you also do the synthesis. Because in this way, you're able to readily identify if you're conducting a research that addresses a research gap. Uh, it's 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 the part of research that has not yet been conducted. So you need to do the synthesis by comparing, contrasting the RRL, the different researches that you have. You can readily identify what part is missing, what part has not yet been done. So that's the synthesis part. Okay, that will be the references list. So that ends my talk. Doc Mark, Joseph, are you there? You're
Yes po.
okay po. Okay po.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Adrian Carvajal, for that very formative information about
Okay.
doing
Opo.
research. Mhm.
Doc Joseph, allow me to close. I have a closing words. I forgot already.
Sure po.
So I have,
Sige po.
for the closing words, allow me to borrow the words of Bujisik. It's the person without limbs, a great speaker, coming from his book Life Without Limits. So we keep moving ahead because action creates momentum, which in turn creates unanticipated opportunities. So if you wanted uh, to visit me, I'll be in San Sebastian. Uh, and this will be actually the programs that we have. We offer 7 MBA programs, 7 MBA specializations. We also have psychology now. Then our PhD has 4 specializations. So yun po yun. And after the Q&A, I'll be having the practice game. It's around 10 questions actually. Then we'll be having the game for the 20 questions. So sorry, Doc, Mark, Joseph, you can take the floor now. You can have the floor. Thank you.
Okay, Doc. Thank you. All right. So before we go to the question and answer portion, we would like to invite Dr. Richard Sanchez for additional information.
What is that, sir?
Do we have additional information for the students regarding this topic?
I think
or add for you to add?
our speaker, Dr. Carvajal, has said everything that they need to learn. In fact, I myself, I am amazed with how he handled, how he discussed things, and I even quoted some of his thoughts. So I think there is none because we have a very good lecture for tonight. Thank you, Sir Mark.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sanchez. All right, participants, our floor is now open for the question and answer. So if you have any questions regarding the topic, pwede nyo na po siyang i-type sa chat box or you can type your name and para ma-recognize namin kayo for you to unmute your mic and ask questions. Okay? Questions?
Everybody is excited for the quiz is game. There's no question.
Yeah.
For the practice game, we'll be having all participants, regardless if you're high school, if you're a consultant, you can have it so that you can have a way of participating also in the game. So it's a practice game for 12 questions.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, question. Come on. Questions you want to ask?
Yeah, questions?
Okay.
Do you have questions?
One question from Randolph Katungal. Can we consider po literature review as research methodology?
Oh, yeah. It's gaining a popularity now. If you have heard of, I need to acknowledge that one. That one is a Professor Katungal, right? That's
po.
not a high school student.
Yes.
Opo. Sir, thank you for the question. There's a popular movement now on making RL as a method of research, and that will be the systematic review. In other countries, this is popular now because it's the framework or anchor for decision making. So whenever a boss is going to decide, they do a systematic review on a certain topic without necessarily doing the legwork of data gathering. So in the disciplines that we have, in the learnings that we have, we were taught before that RRL, the review of this one, a good review can stand on its own as a research. Dr. Sanchez is also an AB Philo major. In our AB Philo major, we did not conduct data gathering. We just confine ourselves with books, trying to synthesize these books and come together with conclusions or findings or synthesis for our thesis. Dr. Sanchez, can you acknowledge that you have done that in your college?
Yes, sir. Actually,
in your AB philosophy?
that is why if you're working on a paper from a philosophy or theology subject, you'll be a little surprised if you're not coming in from that particular field because they really have different ways of doing research, just like what you said, sir.
Yes, po. So we can have maybe Dr. Richard can someday invite someone who's adept, who's a guru in doing a systematic review as a research. That is published already in ISI. On my part, however, I did not yet, the thing that I have done is on my thesis, and I have not yet conducted a systematic review on a certain topic and have published it. So that's the limitation that I have. But I recognize that a systematic review can be a good study already. Thank you, Dr. Katungal, for the question.
Okay, thank you. Another comment from Dr. Philip Joseph Sarmiento. It is also called as armchair research. It is more of disclosure analysis.
Okay. Is Dr. Dr. Sarmiento is also an ex-seminarian, correct, sir?
Yes po. Opo.
Okay.
Actually,
Armchair.
ETCOR is a religious congregation. Just kidding.
Armchair.
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually,
armchair research. Medyo degrading yung coin or term, pero sige, armchair research.
I just heard it, Doc, from one of my professors in De La Salle University because
Armchair research.
he mentioned that actually other researchers can do armchair research, sabi niya. And then,
Yeah,
you're
true.
referring to
Very true.
discourse analysis, sabi.
Okay, true.
Yeah, I already experienced one, Doc. There is one upcoming publication that I have. It's a systematic
Review.
literature review
Okay,
of.
good.
Probably I can share that material to you in some other time.
Okay po. Okay po. Yes. Thank you so much,
Thank you po.
Dr. Sarmiento. So we're armchair researchers.
All right. Any more questions from our participants?
Sir, before I forget, I think this may also help our participants if they can focus on certain parts of the lecture of Dr. Carvajal. For one, I like the discussion on the differences between theoretical framework and conceptual framework. In fact, while the lecture is ongoing, I sent a chat in our group chat in ETCOR that I like that part. I think that will also, dear students from the different parts of the country, if you're having difficulty on determining, distinguishing, because I think even not only senior high school students, but even graduate school students, they're having difficulty on distinguishing between theoretical framework and conceptual framework. The discussion given by Dr. Carvajal is a very nice input that you can use. Actually, it's even in a table format where you can see the difference, the specific differences of these two frameworks. So please take note of that, dear students. And then the other one also, I like the part, the question, and can someone who is standing on the shoulders of a giant be a giant himself? Although I think the context of Dr. Carvajal for that is that from using a theoretical framework, and then you're gonna produce a conceptual framework, and then when validated and so on, that will become theoretical framework in itself, right? I think that is the context of the discussion. But aside from that particular context of Dr. Carvajal, I think that can also inspire our students that now you see us, you have the research consultants from ETCOR Educational Research Center. You are consider us as your giants, and consider this lecture, consider this opportunity as our way of making you giants someday. That someday you will become like us, or you will. I think you can even go beyond and show that through learning, through continuous learning, professional development, using your high school students, we are expecting this from you. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Sanchez, for that.
Thank you, Dr. Sanchez. Allow me to input Dr. Mark.
Sure.
Also for engaging also the research consultants of ETCOR. If you can remember a paradigm of leaving a legacy for persons. How do you leave a legacy behind? So one way will be having a child. We're going to leave a legacy. Second will be planting a tree. And the third one is writing a book, but slash book, writing a research. When you have done a research, you're also trying to leave a legacy that you're trying to contribute to a good scholarly discussion on a certain topic. So the way that we're doing now a research is now trying also to leave a legacy behind. Thank you po, Dr. Mark.
Thank you, Dr. Carvajal, for that. So if there are no questions, I want to see in the chat box that you have to type the letter Q kung wala tayong tanong or question. So I want to see that na magfa-flood sa chat box kung wala tayong tanong. Just to be sure na wala nga tayong tanong. Okay, if you don't have any questions, kindly type Q on the chat box. Ayan. Okay, ang dami. Okay. I guess ready na sila sa sa pag-games ni Dr. Adrian.
Okay, let's have a game then.
Okay. All right, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Mark.
Ayan.
Okay, you can use your phone if your phone have an access to a Wi-Fi. You can type there joinmyquiz.com. You can enter the code 63770 and 52. For the research consultants, you can also join this one. Anyone, any research consultant beating the high school students will be given a 100 peso load. Can you see my screen? Dr. Mark, can you confirm if participants are seeing my screen?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. And they are unable to join? I'm still waiting. So wala pang pumapasok. Why?
Okay, guys. Pag nakapasok na po tayo sa quiz, kindly type Y on the chat box so I can see may tatlo na nag-type sa chat box. All right. Okay, medyo madami na.
Let's start?
Okay.
Mamaya pa. Sige. I'll be waiting for your cue, sir.
Sige pa. Okay.
Anyway, it's a practice game.
All right, madami na po nag-type ng Y. I think we can start.
Okay. There are 32 participants. You can join in.
Yan, nakikita na natin sa screen kung sino yung mga sumasali.
34, 35.
Yeah.
We have around 121 participants. So, yeah, in the 60th, I think I can start because this one is a trial.
Okay. Alright guys, sali tayo. Dali. Sayang yung GCash.
$42.
Okay.
43. 44. 45.
Dok, Doc Adrian, pwedeng
Yes.
pataas konti ulit. Baka
Oo.
baka hindi nila makita yung yung code dun sa taas.
Yung code. Yeah, correct.
Opo.
Here's the code.
Baka hindi nila nakikita. Opo.
Yeah.
Ayan. Okay. Guys, nasa screen na po yung yung pupuntahan natin na site. Tapos yun po yung enter join
joinmyquiz.com.
code.
It's a practice for you. This one is a practice.
We currently have 50 participants.
52. Okay, 53.
Yan, sali po tayo.
7 more. 4. Okay. 3 more, then let's start.
57.
59.
58.
Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Mark, is it okay to start?
Yes po.
Okay na? It's 7:51. 8:30 tayo matatapos.
Dumarating pa.
Oo, pwede namang humabol pa eh. Pwede pang humabol.
Okay.
Okay, let's start.
Okay.
Including the research consultants can also join the game. Okay, start na po ako. Seryoso yung iba.
Competitive.
Okay. Matthew. Okay. So I'll be cutting it short already. Okay. Okay. Oh, that was tough. Oh, hello. Did you enjoy it? Have you enjoyed the practice game? Seryoso lahat eh. Okay. I think for the practice game, our overall winner will be that will be Rose and Oreta. In the third place will be Ricky Amir. Okay. Let's have the game now. Let's have the new game now. I'll stop share. Sumali ka ba, Doc Richard?
Hindi po, Doc. Give chance to others po.
Give chance. Mahirap ba? For those who have answered it, mahirap ba? It's on Philippine Heroes. So, hopefully it had refresh your mind on our Philippine Heroes. Okay, let's start the actual game now. One with the prize now.
Okay, nakatutok na yata yung
Provide.
iba sa code.
Oo po. Ito na. Okay. Ito na. So I'll be sharing once again in my screen the code. Okay. Here is the code. So once again, join myquiz.com. Enter the code 427844. While they're entering the game room, I was thinking of doing the quizzes game for San Sebastian, for the entire levels from grade school to high school to college, including to graduate school program, just to have and play a game online with this, and we'll be having prizes. Also, maybe with the help of ETCOR, we can have a national quiz is game for the students in public schools.
Doc, the join a game code.
Okay.
Tumaas.
Join game code po, tumaas.
Yeah. Okay, we have 64 participants now.
Will I start, Dr. Mark, or do I need to wait for others?
Siguro hanggang 70, Doc. 66.
Okay, sige.
Right. 4 more. Yan. 67. Okay, 68.
I'll have 2 more. 69.
Yeah. 69. One more.
69.
One more. And you will start your game.
Yeah, well.
Ito na po yung game, guys. Dito na po tayo mananalo. So, you have to do good or great.
Yes. And we're
One
waiting one
more.
more participant. Okay. Balu is the last one. But you can actually
Yeah.
join while it is ongoing, but I need to cut short the period of the
Yep.
game or the time for the game. So we'll be starting already, but you can catch up. You can catch up. Okay. Okay. Good luck to all of you. So we're hoping to find the best 3, the top 3 of you in their understanding of the session at hand. So we have 71 participants. So I'll be starting already. Good luck to all of you. Good luck to all of you. Okay. Okay. Dr. Mark,
Yes po.
we'll be cutting this one.
Okay.
Ikakat ko na yung game, ha? Although there are
Sige,
some
Doc, you can...
hindi na makakabal. We need the top 3 lang ito.
Okay.
Clark, Terania, Rose, and Harold Peña. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sige.
Right. Doc, how they can they can claim their prize?
I have posted my email in one of the slides. I'll be showing it once again. You can contact me through my email so that I can readily give the prize that you have won. So we give our congratulations to Clark Terania, winning the first prize, and second will be Rose. Sige, sir. Ikaw na, sir. Ikaw na, Dr. Mark.
Sige po.
Can we see
Last
their
na, sir.
faces? Oh, Rose. we don't know your family name, Rose.
Okay. SCR Clark, Rose, and John, kindly open your camera, please.
For the photo documentation. Okay.
Okay. So that would be Rose
Baka maraming
Policarpio.
magpakilalang Rose.
Oh.
Ako mamaya,
Okay.
ako mamaya Rose pa yung pangalan ko niyan, Doc.
Rose, can you
Okay, good job, guys.
can you turn on your video? Ayaw nila. Oh, SCR, Clark Teranya is good. I'm using this platform to teach my college students before, so I remembered it, and I wish to use it here in this webinar. That's why. But Rene Mailum is familiar. I think this is the daughter of our doctor, physician in the campus. Okay. Have you recognized already the persons who have won? Dr. Mark?
Yes, pa. Clark, Rose,
Okay.
and John
Clark,
Harold.
Rose, and okay. And they are shy of showing their faces.
Yes, po.
All
right.
Sige. But we need
So
to know
before
who's the Rose here. Rose.
Yes, po.
Sige po, Dr. Mark.
All right. Before we go to the awarding of the certificate, let's just acknowledge the presence of the participants. So we have participants from Teodoro Hernandez National High School, Sabuanan, Santa Lucia, Ilocos Sur. We also have participants from San Sebastian College-Recoletos, Quiapo, Manila. We also have participants from Laboratory High School, Ilocos Sur, Polytechnic State College, Quirino, Tagudin, Ilocos Sur. We also have participants from Alupay National High School, Rosario, Batangas. We also have participants from Asia First World Mission Learning Academy, General Trias, Cavite. We also have participants from iStar, Pakistan. We also have participants from City College of Angeles, Pampanga, Angeles City. And we also have participants from Sultan Kudarat State University, Kalamasing Campus. Ayan. At welcome din po dun sa mga ETCOR fellow namin na nandito na nanonood ngayon. Okay? All right, so I'll just have to share my screen.
I'll stop sharing, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so we are now awarding the certificate. So here we have Embracing the Culture of Research, ETCOR, Educational Research Center, Santa Ana, Pampanga, Philippines, presents this certificate of recognition to Dr. Adrian Laurence P. Carvajal, CSEE, CPME, CLSSYB, for his invaluable time and expertise as a resource speaker in the webinar entitled Practical Research 2, Quantitative Research, Quarter 1, Week 6 to 7, Lesson MELCs-aligned, held on November 26, 2020 under the advocacy of Project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK for Everyone of ETCOR Educational Research Center. Signed, Dr. Richard D. Sanchez, Head Researcher Consultant. Thank you so much, Dr. Adrian Laurence Carvajal, for sharing your ideas to us. And I just want to promote the next seminar. This is going to be on December 2. That would be Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So this is going to be a practical research to quantitative research quarter 2, week 1 lesson. So we're hoping na sana po mag-attend tayo ulit kasi magkakatuloy po ito. Magkakasunod-sunod siya. Okay? So our lecturer would be Randolph G. Katunggal and our moderator si Dr. Adrian Laurence Carvajal. Ayan. Again. Okay. All right. So do we have any final words from our head researcher, Dr. Richard Sanchez?
Yes, sir. Opo. Gusto ko lang pong pasalamatan na those people who participated, who made this event successful. Sir Angelo Peña Redonda from St. Benilde International School in Laguna. He was the one who gave the welcome message on behalf of ETCOR. Thank you so much po, Sir Angelo. And of course, ang napakagaling po nating moderator para sa event na ito, Dr. Mark Santos from iACADEMY in Makati City na napakagaling pong mag-moderator at may pa-sounds pa. At I think even yung mga bata po ay nag-enjoy po sila on how you facilitate this event. And of course, ang isa sa mga bida sa event na ito na nagbahagi ng kanyang karanasan, ng kanyang mga nalalaman si Dr. Adrian Laurence from San Sebastian College-Recoletos in Manila. So maraming salamat po. Aside from thanking him personally, I would like to thank San Sebastian as an institution po. Kasi this activity is conducted in partnership with San Sebastian. Sa mga authorities po, sa mga officials ng San Sebastian College, maraming salamat po. Sana po ay makarating sa kanila ang pasasalamat natin. We also would like to thank po the different research consultants, ang mga kasama po natin sa ETCOR na nandito rin. Hindi ko na lang po maiisa-isa, but we have the research consultants of course from the Philippines. And we also have, I saw some research consultants na kasama natin from the different parts of the country. I saw Sir Professor Amir, Professor Haider. So thank you so much po. And finally, I would like to thank the student participants, the senior high school students from the different parts of the country. Maraming salamat po. Although I would like to recognize all the schools, I think na-recognize na rin naman ni Sir Mark. Special mention sa mga Baste, taga San Sebastian College, Recoletos. Natutuwa po ako sa suporta nyo sa inyong dean ng graduate school. Talaga pong hindi nyo hinayaan na mag-isa si Doc Adrian. I saw kung gaano yung suporta nyo sa inyong dear Dean, Dr. Carvajal. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Richard Sanchez, for that. Now, bago po tayo mag-close, mag-picture taking po muna tayo. So, lahat po tayo, paki-on po yung camera at magpi-picture po muna tayo for documentation purposes. Okay? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so apat po ang, we have 4 tiles for this, so we should have 4 clicks. Okay. All right, first one. In 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, next tile. Okay, ready? In 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay. Third one. In 3, 2, 1. All right. And last one. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you for your participation. Now, I will just post the link for the evaluation. So make sure po na nasasagutin natin.
Aside from posting that, the link is also sent to them through their email during the invitation for evaluation.
Okay. All right. Make sure to answer the evaluation within 24 hours. So, para ma-receive namin agad yung yung information. Okay? All right. For a moment. Okay. So, here is the link. So, let me just project my screen again for the last time. Okay, so we are done. So thank you for attending the Embracing the Culture of Research event for today. So we are available on Facebook. So you can see there in your screen, the Facebook, the Twitter, and the YouTube. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. Thank you for attending and have a great day. Goodbye.